Okay, so for today's video, I'm taking out a old Pentair Intelliflo pump, and we're installing a new Pentair Intelliflo 3 pump, 1.5 horse for this pool. The first thing I'm going to do is just cut the plumbing loose. So I'm cutting it from the discharge pipe and cutting it from the suction line. Once I cut it loose, I can move it around on the pad so I can easily access the electrical. On this one, the electrical box is on the side of the pump here. It's held by 4 screws, so we'll go ahead and remove that first. Once I have that compartment open, I do double check that my switches are off for power, make sure the timer is off, and then I'm going to double check it using my multimeter to make sure I don't have any voltage coming through these wires before I start touching them. I'm going to check both wires, so put my black lead on ground, check line 1, nothing, line 2, nothing, so I'm good to go. And we'll go ahead and remove that ground screw all the way so I can unwrap this wire, since they wrapped it around that green screw and we're not using it again. The other 2 wires were just stuck into those screws, so I was able to just slide those out. Once the wires are loose, you have to take loose the watertight connection for your conduit. Now I can go ahead and set the pump to the side. I did forget about the bonding wire on the bottom of the pump. Common thing on these Intelliflos is this bonding lug will rust out and not let you unscrew it. So once I realize this one is rusted out, I go ahead and cut the wire because we have another bonding lug on the new pump. These bonding lugs are basically discharging any electricity into the ground. It's not the same as a ground, but it is needed on the pumps. We'll go ahead and hook up electrical first on the new pump so that we can have it ready and then plumb it in second. Once I take off the 2 screws that hold on this cover plate, we're going to hook up the conduit for that electrical. Now, the other one did not need one of these rings. I happen to have one in my bag, but that's why I carry these on there. The old pump did not need it. The conduit screwed directly into the pump. This one needs that ring. So we'll go ahead and push our wires through, and once we have those through, we'll go ahead and tighten up that connection to make it watertight again. Make sure everything is snug, and then we'll go ahead and wire the pump up. The bonding lug for the Intelliflo 3 is on the side of the pump, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen up that set screw, slide in my bonding wire, and then tighten it back down. This is a 240 volt system, so both the red and black wire are hot with 120 volts, so it does not matter which side I put them on. Go ahead and do the ground wire first. Go ahead and make a wrap with this wire and hook it around my grounding lug and tighten it back down. Where these wires are going in, it says L1 and L2. These are just line 1 and line 2. Line 1 also has an N next to it. If you do use 120 volts, you can use that as your neutral line and line 2 as your hot line. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and close it back up, and now we're ready for plumbing. If I had an automation system, there is a data cable that you can run from this pump to the automation to go ahead and control it from that, but since this is just a standalone pump, it's just going to be the high voltage. For the plumbing, this comes with unions for the pump. Now, this is the 1.5 model, so these are the smaller unions, 1.5 to 2 inch unions. So you always want to make sure the O-ring is set in there really nice and straight. These have a tendency to get the O-rings twisted or pinched. So we do it on the front. On this one right here, when I push that O-ring into the union, I just set it down and don't even put the ring on it yet until I have it nice and flat, so I know that O-ring is not pinched and causing a leak. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the front. So what I'm going to do here is just measure to where it comes up to the bottom of that union and cut. And then we're going to do just a regular 2-inch 90 here. So after I cut it, I just kind of wipe off the burrs, grab a 2-inch 90 and my gray glue. Make sure you get plenty of glue on the union and on the 90. Go ahead and glue it onto the pump first. Always put on and twist if I can, so I can get good coverage. And then I'll just lift the pump up, go ahead and get my glue on both the 90 and the pipe, and then set it back down onto the pipe. Make sure it's sitting flat on the ground on that pad. It's not crooked or wobbly. Now I have a over the collar fitting for this, so the over the collar is basically a fitting extender. This is just nothing but fittings on this job, so I don't have any clean pipe to put a regular coupling on. So I'm going to cut it and glue my over the collar fitting right onto this 90. There are some letters here that are raised on the side, so I take my file and just smooth those out so the coupling can sit all the way down. Once I smooth those out, then I just glue it on as normal. And on the other end, I'm able to put another 2-inch 90 to go over to the pump. Now, you can't find these at Home Depot. They're from our distributor, so you'd probably have to look out for them online if anything. So glue right on the outside of that 90. Make sure it gets good coverage. Cleaning up the excess glue. Now the way that I like to do these, I'll go ahead and put a coupling, a 2-inch coupling on the top union for the pump. Clean up any excess glue. Then I'm going to take a longer than I need piece of 2-inch plumbing and glue it into that coupling. Now with this, I'm going to cut off where I can definitely tell it is higher than the other piece of PVC on the other side. But I can always cut off excess. This Milwaukee snipper tool is amazing for new pipe, but I only use it on new pipe. Anything old or bigger than 2-inch, I have to use my Sawzall. So now I'm just lining up where I need to cut this pipe off so that I can put a 90 on it and make a telephone. So now it just goes right over to it. I'm going to line it up how much I need to cut off of this piece of pipe. Once I have that lined up, go ahead and cut that off. Check it, make sure it does fit in that area. So now I need 2 just regular 90s. So the best way to make sure that this goes on straight is you glue 190 in on one side first. I'm going to go ahead and get that turned and set. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the glue on the second 90 and go ahead and prep the pipe with glue as well. And I'm going to push these on as I set it onto the actual pipe. This allows me to make sure that I am straight 100% on both the discharge of the pump and where it meets on the other plumbing. Now that I know that it's straight, I can go ahead and prep my fittings and my pipe. Pull up from the bottom, push them together, and now it's ready to go. That glue does not take very long to dry. It'll be ready to test in about 5 to 10 minutes. So now I turn power back onto the pump. For this pump, it is a Bluetooth connection to start. So I'm going to my Pentair Pro app, pushing the connect button on the back of the pump until it blinks blue. This is pairing mode for the Bluetooth. And I just go to add device. Tell it that I'm adding an Intelliflo3 pump. It'll give me instructions on what you're supposed to do on the back of the pump. It shows the serial number for the pump, pair to it. Now it comes with a 24-hour schedule on it. So once I get to this, I just skip. I'm not adding any information about the customer's pump. Once it fetches the data for this pump after it connects, I can go to program 1, which is the only program that it will have, and edit that so that it runs on a, instead of 24-hour schedule, it'll run on an 8-hour schedule or a 12-hour schedule. Set the speeds that I want, and then now I'm going to go ahead and prime the pump up. So what I did was press the start stop button so that I can turn the pump off and fill it with water. All new pumps or any pumps taken apart do need a bucket of water in them to be able to prime. After I add this bucket of water, go ahead and put the lid back on and we'll start the pump up and let it prime. Check for any leaks or any issues. Because I had the pipe open, I'll go ahead and open the air breathe since there's going to be air in that filter that needs to come out. And I'm not going to close that until water starts coming out of the air breathe. And then that means I'm good to go. You can see the water being pulled into the pump now. It takes less than a minute for it to prime. Water is going to start coming out of the filter. Go ahead and close that back up. Holding pressure. No leaks. It's good to go.